Mega TV Free Cup Studio Live 2021 GSL SuperTournament.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time to go to our second best of five. No surprises so far. Honestly, the only surprise I guess we could say that happened was that Solar even won a game against Rogue.
Oh, I think he would always, in a best of five, that's very reasonable.
Okay,
Solar
so
to take the game.
nothing crazy going on just yet then. But this one I think is tougher to call. Zoun's got a really cool approach to the game. He really is very much kind of on top of the new meta, you could say. But Dark is an extremely strong, robust Zerg.
Yeah, I think it's, you probably look at it and say, okay, Dark favored, but Zoun, I think, is someone that he's in the middle of his own breakout right now, where he's getting better and better and better, and I think it is definitely possible that he can kill Dark here. He had a great last Super Tournament, that's for sure. And, yeah, I'm excited to see him play. I hope he can deliver some strong games against Dark. And yeah, I tell you, I feel like Korean PvZ lately has been a little bit lacking.
Okay.
We've seen, it's like this cool meta that's super strong with lots of Sky Toss came out, and then like all the Koreans were like collectively like, you know what if we just do gateway timing attacks after opening with a Void Ray?
I wonder if what happened
and I have not liked that.
The Sky Toss style seemed interesting, but it's one of those builds where you leave the Zerg to its own devices, and I think ultimately, even though a lot of Zergs didn't know how to deal with it, I think maybe outside of a lot of the tournament play, we've basically seen it solved. Or we haven't seen it, but it has been solved. Because I think there's a reason why people aren't doing it. They're leading back into timing attacks, trying to end the game at a specific moment. But honestly, Zoun has some of the most interesting timing attacks, I think, in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, he does have some very cool ones, that's for sure. And honestly, I think what's happening with that also, Taste, is what you were talking about. They do want to end the game earlier. Like, if you go into air toss, it's like the game basically goes to the map is mined out. And I don't think many players, especially Korean players, want to get into those situations. You have to be a certain kind of masochist to play all your practice games going to mined out maps.
Yeah. Well, it is a way to play, but it is very time consuming. It's very energy consuming.
It's hard to
for
practice.
The player.
It's hard to practice.
It's unforgiving.
Yeah.
If you screw it up. And that might be another reason why we've seen players opt out of it as far as styles of play. We're going to start this off on Oxide. This is Zoun versus Dark. The winner fights Rogue in the round of 8.
Game start. Alpha X, Zoun. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Dark.
So a probe sent out pretty early here. Doesn't look like he's going to be hiding anything so much as just interfering with the planting of the hatchery.
The drone's just going to go right on by and make the hatchery at the third.
So
pretty standard counter.
While we wait for this game to develop, you know, we've talked about this before, but I think we're finally getting to the point where it's going to really become a reality, is that a lot of these players have to go to the military. It's why TY, this may be his last tournament. I mean, maybe he'll come back after that. We don't know. But it's good to have new players come into StarCraft 2. We want that. We welcome that. And that's one of the reasons why Zoun is so exciting.
Yeah.
Is this is not a guy we've casted for the last 7 or 8 years.
And yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, Zoun is not alone. There's a couple other players that are going to bubble up more to the surface as we see the rotation of some players go to the military. And it's kind of a funny thing in Korean esports in general, because this was hotly debated before anybody had to serve in the military. All the pro gamers are so young, and the question was, can you come back and compete? And there was all this, I think the technical term is bullshit, where people were saying, oh, there's no way you can come back as an older player and play, your hands don't work as fast, your mind doesn't. That's basically been debunked, as we've had a lot of great players come back. StarCraft 2, StarCraft 1, where people are very strong. But there is going to be a period where these players, and by the way, guys, in case you're confused about this, you cannot compete while you're serving in your
you're
service.
Not allowed.
You're not allowed to generate an income that is not the military income. So you can't have a side hustle.
Now, that's
so.
You go ahead, and then I have some questions for you, Taste.
No, good. But we are eventually going to have a cluster of these players go and serve.
Yeah,
and that's when we're going to have a couple other Zouns come into the scene.
Yeah, we have some guys right on the edge right now that are coming up.
Now, what was your question to me?
Well, you say that we have that it was BS, right? That you can't come back after the military, but 0 players were able to come back during KESPA team eras in StarCraft 1 or StarCraft 2. People tried, and no one was able to return to professional play at that time. But since the teams went away, we do have people returning.
I will tell you, I love Korea, but Korea loves, not loves, but there's a lot of bureaucracy sometimes in Korea, and I think KESPA was a very bureaucratic
for sure
institution, and I think that was more restrictive than the actual way that you could play the game. I think the falling of a lot of KESPA teams has allowed a lot of players to kind of become their own free agents. They can stream. We have much more information about the game than we ever had before, where back in the day, things were much more insulated because teams were trying to harbor secrets in the game against each other.
Of course.
And honestly, Korea was just much more sealed off at the time. I mean, there was a foreign interest in StarCraft. That's why people like you and me ended up moving here, but it wasn't, there wasn't easy access to it, I guess you could say. But yeah, look, now we see the players can compete. People look very good. Back then, Artosis, people were saying you couldn't play StarCraft past the age of 20 or 21.
Yeah.
People were saying, which is clearly just not the case.
Yeah, no, I mean, I pretty much agree with what you're saying, but I do think the reason why people are able to come back after military at this point, a part of that is the lack of teams.
Yeah. Well, also, if you're 23 years old, you don't want to be in a room with 9 other guys in bunk beds, and
No, totally. These are all big parts of it. I don't think it's because you physically can't do it, obviously.
Right, or mentally.
Silly. Yeah, exactly. Well, we should probably stop talking about that because we have the most exciting build ever, the Adept attack.
This is just
and
not.
Then he
this is
loses
actually a train wreck of a game to start things off. I thought he might be able to elevator that away, but Dark has just snapped this build order in half and then eaten it.
Well.
And then barfed it back up and then lit it on fire.
And then licked up the fiery mess like a dog.
Then, yes, I mean, he just completely smashed that.
Yeah, that was.
Sometimes it's okay for timing attacks to not work, but you need to be able to get away with your army in the Warp Prism. When you lose the Warp Prism in the army, I think Zoun is just going to double Zoun, as they say, and I don't think this is going to work either.
No,
in fact, I think this is going to be even weaker than the attack before. Now, there are 2 gases being made, so he's going to try to tech out of it, but I mean, how far is Dark ahead? I would say by quite a bit.
I don't think that Dark can lose this. I think it is very close to impossible for a player of his caliber to lose this game right now.
I think if Dark were to lose this game, it would be not so much because of the brilliance of Zoun, but really because of Dark not staying on top of his defense. Now, we've got some small attacks coming in here, but it's never really a good thing when you see the Adepts only killing Lings and the drones can continue to mine. The Lings are the most expendable thing in the game. And so we had 10 drones killed, not bad. But I think that Dark can still remake. We do have Immortals coming out and the rest of the Robo tech being filled out.
Yeah, he'll go Disruptor from here 100%. And that's, I like that. I think that that's the only thing that you can do here that gives you a real chance to fight your way back into it is good Disruptor hits. Obviously, that's very good against Roach. It's very good against Ravager, which is Dark's style anyways. We see Dark, though, throwing down a Spire.
Yes.
And the Spire is going to be a great counter to that as well. So we'll see what Zoun can get done. I think he'll start Disruptors now. Maybe even he could get speed for the Prism as well. I could definitely see him trying something like that, but it might be a little bit too late into the game for that. We'll see. But yeah, Dark's position, even after losing all those drones, it's like Zoun had a very late economy. He is getting a 3rd base, sure. Oh, he's getting Thermal Lance? Yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, this isn't a catch-all for Mutas, Artie.
No. He has nothing that shoots up, in fact, 0 things. I don't think he even has a Sentry, Tasteless, and a Sentry is not anti-Muta.
Well, I think Dark's playing a very smart ZVP now that he's gotten his advantage. He has enough bulk on the ground that he can take a fight there, but I think the switch into Mutas is just going to completely throw the Protoss off balance.
Yeah, well, the Mutas are going to pop out, and I think he might actually just GG at that point. Because he literally doesn't have anything. Okay, a Sentry and a Stalker being made right now. Like, there's an Overseer flying over his base, and Dark is just looking at how juicy it is. So it's like the juiciest piece of fruit, and it's full of gold coins at base.
I mean, this is rough right now.
Dude.
9.
Yeah, he has
this is
a
just
Stalker and a Sentry.
Yeah.
There's 9 Mutas being made.
Whenever there's more Mutas than there are Stalkers and Blink is still coming along, it's never a good thing. And to top it all off, there's an attack coming here. So he's going to get to kill the Stalkers right when they hatch out. Or when the Mutas hatch out, rather.
Okay, forces a cancel there.
Okay.
Such a tiny amount of Stalkers. 8 Stalkers going to be going up against 9 Mutas plus the rest of the army. Oh, the Mutas are actually going across the map. I'm surprised he's going across the map. Throws down those biles and forces everything back. But, like, I mean, it's mostly a ground-pounding army. I think you just want to bring your Mutas here.
Well, there's 2 ways to do this. He can try to brace for impact and hold this as long as he can and then devastate the economy. I mean, in truth, Dark does get to kill workers much more quickly, I mean, than Zoun does. I mean, Zoun's still having to fight the army, and it does look like Dark is able to walk and chew gum here. I mean, he's going to kill up all these probes, and I think from there you just come back and fight, but maybe there's too many Stalkers now in the picture.
Well, he's made it, I think, more difficult than it needed to be. If he
it's almost
with
too
everything
fancy.
Immediately, like, for instance, he can just right-click on the Warp Prism with the Mutas, the 9 Mutas, right? 8 Stalkers won't kill them before they get that, and then there's no reinforcements, and you get the army.
There's not enough room to really micro here,
kills
and
it
so
anyways.
he just sort of swallows this up with the presence from 2 sides. And there's 18 probes now. GG, Dark takes game 1. Really, this all goes back to the Warp Prism being shot down with the Adepts. I mean, the timing attack backfired.
Honestly, like, that build in general against Dark I don't even like. I don't like the build in general right now anyways. It's so dated right now, and everyone has had so much practice against that Adept build. But on Dark's side, specifically, this is a guy that goes Roach Warren earlier than most people regardless. This is a guy that plays more drone light than most people. He's a guy who makes earlier groups of units very oftentimes because he likes to put on pressure. So all these things are like anti-Adept. The Adept build, you really want to catch someone that's maybe over-droning just a little tiny bit, and then you punish them for that. So I don't think it's a good choice for Dark, probably for anyone, but for Dark especially.
We're going to go to Juggernaut here for game 2, and I'm hoping that Zoun has a better start.
Me too.
All right, we're going to go into that right now, guys. The best of 5 continues on.
Game start. Alpha X, Zoun. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Dark.
It's cool to see that that Zoun has really had this kind of consistency now. Now that he's been in a couple GSLs, he's still staying here. Remember the first day he came to the studio? You and me were up here like, it's the new guy. Look at him. I saw him walking around on the set. We're like,
yeah, every time there's a new guy, it's very exciting.
Like, it's a new StarCraft 2 player. Look at him. We're like, look, he seems to be pretty fashionable with his clothes. That's cool. Like, but yeah, he's consistently making it into GSLs. He's a good player, but right now Protoss seems to be in a bit of a funny spot against Zerg. It's not that Protoss can't win, but they do seem, and you alluded to this earlier, there's a lot of timing attacks that seem to not work.
Yeah, well, the Korean scene, like, altogether decided to go back to attacking Zerg with gateway units, which has never really been the best thing to do. Yeah, it's a little bit odd. Like, I don't think that that's the correct way for the metagame to be going. It doesn't seem to work.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I feel just slightly disappointed in the PVZs that we get here. All the other matchups, pretty happy with. Those, though, I'm like, I think you guys could choose some better strategies here.
Well, the way that RTS games, if they're designed correctly, you're supposed to be able to hold a timing attack as long as you can detect it quick enough. But whenever you have a matchup that is so hinged on timing attack, and by the way, guys, a timing attack is not exactly the same thing as a push.
A timing attack is timed on something like an upgrade finishing.
Yeah, or them being in the middle of a tech. They're trying to tech into something.
Yeah, like hitting right before,
let's say
lurkers or something.
Or they're
like
halfway
that.
to a spire finishing and they banked a bunch of larvae, and now they have this
you
problem.
force them to spend that into roach
Yeah.
or something like that.
Or maybe they do go to Muta, but then they lose their ground army and lose some workers in the process. That's
Most
a timing
timings in
attack.
StarCraft 2 nowadays are based off upgrades that you do rather than what your opponent is doing, though.
That's true.
Things, when it's what your opponent's doing, it's very hard to have the exact intel on that and the exact timing for that a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So, but you might have general ideas like, oh, at 5 minutes is generally when this tech is ready or whatever, so let's hit before then. But yeah, it's and I mean, a lot of them are just pushes as well, but there are some timings where it's like, oh yeah, you know, we finish +1 and suddenly we're strong.
Right. Good scout, by the way.
Yeah, he sees the robo. That's definitely very useful.
Another gateway comes down. Now, you don't have to commit to any kind of attack when you see that robo, but we do see the glaives coming, so he is going to commit something. Whenever you see glaives, that's a nod to pressure. Now, the history of the Adept has been a funny one because the Adept has basically gone from hero to zero, I would almost say. There was periods where the Adept was at the very start of the game, and granted, there were balance patches that made the game a certain way, and we're in a different iteration of StarCraft 2, even though we're still in the same expansion with Legacy. But yeah, I mean, for a while, nobody could deal with the Adepts.
Yeah.
Even other Protoss players couldn't quite handle them.
Yeah.
And
when they first came out, they were super broken.
Yeah.
They were insane. Their stats were so much better than they are now.
And nobody also was used to the way they moved. There wasn't anything in an RTS game quite like that.
But yeah, units that are not micro-based but are more tactical-based, they can be very tricky, but they get solved. And then they are much weaker after that. Also, it's been nerfed several times. But here we go. He's going to try to make this work once again. We'll see if he can get Dark. Dark is on 39 drones. I think he stopped at just the optimal time. He's making 1 million lings, a few Ravagers. He's got to show some nice micro here. Oh, yeah, he's just going to infiltrate the third base. It seems like Dark... It's kind of funny because Dark is going almost pure Ling and then like 3 Ravagers.
Yeah, it's sort of a funny...
I mean, the Ravagers are great and all. Okay, he finishes his Shade there, and the Lings surround, so he's going to go ahead and kill these off.
Yeah, in fact, it's only going to be... It's actually not going to be anything that gets away. Not as bad as the first game, but I will say this, still pretty bad. I mean, Zerg is still very comfortable with what's happening here.
A lot of Lings were made, and so that portion of it is pretty good. He killed 3 drones. But yeah, I'm not a fan of what he's gotten done so far. Not done yet. He can continue to put some pressure on. He does have the gases at his natural, or he just started them, I guess. So maybe you're going to follow this up with like a Sentry Immortal Adept attack.
The War Prism's going to loop back around. And I just feel like the Zerg is very comfortable right now. You swat it away, the timing attack. Obviously, the War Prism's still a threat and needs to be respected, but I mean, Dark's very good at reacting to stuff like this, and he's going to save those 2 Adepts, take a little bit of damage there on the hull.
Third Nexus is going up. Yeah, it's definitely better for Zoun this game than the previous one. So Dark's economy is not that far ahead, honestly.
There are some idea-wise things happening here that are similar, though, to Game 1 as far as tech goes. He's going to go ahead and get Immortals out here, tech into probably some Colossus tech. He's taking a third, getting a Forge. These are all signals that he wants to go into more of a macro game. But Zerg able to breathe, able to take a 4th base shortly here.
Yeah, we don't see a Spire or anything either. I would like to just see Disruptors this time. I was actually kind of surprised he went 1 Colossus Thermal Lance push that last game. But I guess it has been kind of Ling heavy. And against Lings, Colossus will definitely be better.
The Colossus is one of the best things in the whole game against the Lings because it just it zaps them away, and then you could have your other units focus fire the more important stuff behind those Lings.
Well, he has his 3rd up in mining, creating that Colossus. +1 blink on the way.
So the bottom right base is going to be taken for the Zerg, and this is a base that's extremely difficult to push. It's one of the features of this map that can be a bit of a dilemma for these other races here. You know, it's when you can expand or when you have to expand towards the opponent, that's always much more of a threat. But I'd say Dark kind of overall just ahead, just more comfortable here. I don't see a big fight coming anytime soon. In fact, there's 2 Stargates being made.
Yeah, this is funny, right? Burrow and Burrow movement on the way for Dark this time, no Spire. But we have 3 cannons being made as well as the 2 Stargates, so it feels like he might be getting ready to counter Mutas. Let's see what he makes out of them, because he doesn't really have that good of intel or anything. We haven't seen, like, hallucinated Phoenixes flying around. But yeah, it feels like he's just trying to counter something that's not occurring.
I agree. I think we're going to see an attack action a little bit here. I mean, Zerg's close to maxing out, so he wants to basically do a supply dump here and get some damage off. There is a Nidus coming. I don't know where it's going to be set up. It looks like he does have the opportunity to put it in the main here.
Tell you, Voids would actually be pretty good out of those 2 Stargates right now.
I agree.
If he adds some Voids in, that's going to be like really strong with this. It's like such an old composition, but just for the kind of weirdness that we're seeing this game, that would be like a really cool little counter. We don't see anything made out of the Stargates, though. It does seem like they're just sitting there ready to make Phoenixes if need be.
Oh my God, he could sandwich this if he's trying to go up.
He's just going to sneak in.
For it, yeah. And you know, he's split off enough of the roaches. I don't think that Zoun's actually caught on to this. I think he knows now.
Yeah.
As he sees this. But these roaches can actually act as cover for the Nidus. The Nidus is about halfway done, and I don't see any damage going down. And excuse me, I stand corrected. He actually blinks Stalkers up there. But he could still have a, oh no, he can't have a Queen come out just in time. I was going to say if he had just Queens coming out, maybe transfuse.
Yeah.
But he is going to get the Robo.
It looks that way. Oh man, with Disruptors coming out as well, which is a great counter to this unit set. The Cybernetics Core just died. We don't even have charge, so his gateways are a little bit useless right now. Another night is coming up. 73 drones for Dark on 4 bases. Looking pretty darn dominant. He's sitting here maxed out. There's not that much production for Zoun. Zoun does have a very healthy worker count, so that's something.
I like just even the threat of the Nidus keeps some of the army there and then allows the rest of this to come in here like so. And there's actually just nowhere to even move. He's fully surrounded this. Unbelievable. Oh my God. I think that could actually be fatal here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just
it looks it.
Such a pounding. And, I mean, there's just no more map to really move around over here. Now, it looks like some of the Stalkers are going to come down here and maybe try to take a fight, but the problem is that there are so many more Roaches in development, more reinforcing right now. That Disruptor, the last Disruptor that's going to be made for a little bit here. Actually, I'm sorry, he remade the Robo. There's one more coming out.
Yeah, but right now it's like, it's Stalkers. I guess he's making 1 Disruptor at a time. He is getting charged, which I think is important. I don't know, maybe if you hold for a very long time against this Roach play, like it's not going to scale better. The more that you retain some of these better units as Protoss, maybe there is a road to victory here. Oh, that's...
Ooh, actually, not... Oh, I actually didn't see the Roaches on the other side of the force field for a second there. I think we're at the end over here. Again, I mean, Dark can just lean in over here. And I love the Roaches being used to come in here and actually hit the Disruptor or the Colossus. He's basically circumventing the position that Protoss has.
Well, he can even trade at a little bit of a deficit here, and he's going to be okay. A lot of Roaches still coming in, flooding forward.
It's almost as if Dark has bought his way out of the problem. You know, his economy and his tech is so strong. You're right, he can trade inefficiently, and it's kind of fine. Somehow that Colossus stays alive here. The line of defense at the third base is going to crumble as the last stalker falls. Even a Knight is just sort of coming up in the midst of all this. I guess why not? It's not that expensive, just something to draw some attacks away.
Yeah, may as well. Another Knight is coming up just non-stop. I tell you, if you cover up the nameplates, I'm like, yeah, this is Rogue.
Yeah.
The amount of Knight is
I'm like, yeah, it's crazy. We let Rogue play in the next part of the bracket,
We're letting him beat everyone on the way to the finals.
It's one of those things where you have like the chess player, the chess grandmaster that plays 10 people at once.
Yeah, that's basically.
That's the same thing here. Yeah, there it is. Dark takes game 2. Looking like it could be a 3-0 here, Artie.
Yeah, well, if Zoun keeps on going for Adept openers, that's probably what it will be. Already kind of went over that from game 1, where that is not really a great opener against Dark. I think against Dark, you want to get into more cost efficiency because he's such a roach bro anyways.
Yeah.
That you want things like Immortals, like Disruptors, like Sky Toss. Anything like that's going to do better against him. But if you're trying to tactically outplay him with an Adept opening that's been around for like 2 years plus now, that's not the way. That's not the way.
We're going to go to Roman T side for map number 3.
Oh, it's not Romanticity?
Not Romanticity. It's Roman T. Like T is in tasteless.
Ah.
And then side.
Roman tasteless
like
side.
Which side of the map do I spawn on?
Alpha X, Zoun. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Dark.
Zergs are winning today, Artie.
Well, the first one was a ZVZ, so we were going to definitely have that. Dark versus Zoun. Yeah, I mean, I was actually expecting better out of Zoun today than what we're seeing. We're not seeing anything new or special, really, I think. I guess that one Colossus was different, but it didn't seem good, and it wasn't.
I wonder if he should try something without the Adept pressure.
You wonder? He should try something without the Adepts. Tasteless.
You're so much meaner than me.
Well, I mean, if these are pro gamers, that means that this is their job, and my job is to look at this and tell you what's wrong and what's right. And
yeah, look, the Adept play is not working.
Yeah,
and it's to the point where you have to wonder how hard is it in 2021 for a Code S Zerg to manage 3 bases with a Warp Prism and Adepts coming around. I know that. You know, at high levels, a very good Protoss player can run circles around somebody, but not Dark.
Yeah.
Not Dark.
Literally a world champion.
Dark literally deals with this all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the problem is that there's not ways for Protoss to innovate on top of this, unless maybe they got like a sentry and did some kind of force field ramp block, and then it go into, you know what I'm saying?
There are a lot of different ways that you can do the Adept build. There's like 3 gate, 4 gate. There's like 7 gate. There's DT follow-up.
Right.
Theres Disruptor timing follow-up.
I think we need to see more of that, because once you have just the Adepts shade, and then they get surrounded by Lings, and you lose them in the middle of the Zerg's natural, I mean, how hard of a game is it for the Zerg from there?
Yeah, he didn't even do the Adepts well.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's a whole nother story. But we really need to see something else. There's a Stargate. Okay. Let's see if he can make something else here work. He's already doing better than the last 2 games.
He's already doing better, Artosis.
Yeah.
He makes a different
I can't tell you how disgruntled I am that he chose to do, because it's not just that the build is a bit old. Like, it's okay to mix that in some, right? You're playing a best of 5. But then you take on top of that just Dark's style. Dark has been around forever. His style is not a secret.
Well, he's very good at holding off all attacks and then coming back with an Ultralisk.
He makes roaches earlier than anyone else.
Yeah.
He's a roach guy.
Yeah.
You're not going to catch him over droning. It doesn't happen. Like,
yeah, he's not
that's
somebody
not who
that
he
was
is.
trying to cut corners. He likes
God.
to have a robust early game.
If someone tells you who they are through their play, believe them. Okay? It's
Yeah, don't overthink it. This is going to be scouted. He's going to kill the Overlord. Now, the question is he going to make more after this? We've had a couple games where somebody made one Void Ray or two Void Rays and
gateway
stuff.
attack.
Yeah, we've seen it, man.
Yeah, it could be.
So he's going to get the Oracle. But again, an Oracle is not necessarily a nod to full-on air fleets.
Yeah. No, the Oracle could be anything, really. Could be a single Oracle. You could go up to 3 Oracles. Could go right back into Voids. We'll see if he throws down the second Stargate. That's kind of the thing I'm really looking for here. He does not have to. Like, again, I don't think that you should, for instance, go Void Ray builds every single game or something. But there's the second Stargate. Okay. Now, how much do you want to bet me, Tasteless, that Zoun has a better game here than the other two by far?
Like $4.
All right, $4 it is.
Well, I mean, look, I think there's more opportunities here. I think Zhao's going to lean back into that. Again, it's passive, and we mentioned this earlier on. Seems like people stopped doing this because maybe the Zerg can get a little bit out of hand. The Zerg can't attack you, but then again, who said the Zerg needs to attack you at all? A lot of times, Zerg is just being greedy and gobbling up the resources on the map and teching into whatever they see fit. So, yeah, this is going to be a different game. Better? I don't know yet. We got to see how this this tech is really going to pan out and what Dark's response to it is. Because
well, he hasn't lost 1,000 minerals of units yet, so I would say he's already done better than the other games. But yeah,
Forge coming here too. All signs point to a slower game. And so the ideas behind what Protoss is doing is basically that a Void Ray, while it can't really attack and snowball a game in any kind of fight, it doesn't really so much counter anything. It just sort of keeps it impossible for the Zerg to attack the Protoss.
It's really hard for Zerg to actually kill you if you're going to Stargate Void Ray.
And although the Void Ray is not great against Zerglings because an overwhelming amount of Lings can kill a Nexus before the Void Ray can stop it, a couple Void Rays fix that problem quite easily, which is what he's been developing, as you can see here.
Yeah, we don't actually see anything like a Nidus or a rush up into Hive Tech or even a Hydralisk Den as of yet here for Dark. So it seems like he's playing kind of a slower game, just getting up to the drone count that he wants. Charge and +1 is on the way for Zoun, which I think that's an okay follow-up to this type of thing. Ah, there's the Nidus. Okay, now we're starting to see what he wants to do. Now that is something you have to figure out that that's coming.
Yeah, this is something that can blindside a Protoss doing this. Like, In Control had a great metaphor for stuff like this, like you're slowly putting your Lego castle together.
Yeah.
And then some fat kid with sticky hands comes and kicks it over. And that's kind of what these sort of strats are.
Yeah.
It's just like you're like, okay, one Void right here. All right, let's tech in. Let's get some cannons over here with a Forge. All right, we're going to get a Fleet Beacon and a Robo here at the same time. My gateways are coming, and it's like, bah! Nidus!
Well, that's what he's trying to do.
And this time, the Nidus is on the outside.
Okay. He might do something like pop this up, start putting pressure on, and then try to Nidus in the main base, like draw attention away with it.
Did he get 2 Niduses, actually?
No, he has one.
Oh, okay.
All right, second one going up. You need a lot of shield batteries here. That is probably the most important thing.
Now, does he see this coming? Yeah.
What is this, the Middle Ages?
This is, whoa, Artosis. The dad jokes. Okay, so he's just going to basically line up the Niduses here. He's going to hit this area with Roaches. Now, Voids are actually pretty good against Roaches, especially when you turn them up like we're seeing here. And so he's going to drive that away. And we may even see yet another Nidus. There it is. Okay.
He is just mass Nidusing. This is kind of funny. But look, there's like a lot of charge lots, a lot of Voids. I would actually like to see him continue to make Voids, continue to make shield batteries. He has 2 Robos going. What are those making? I mean, like whatever they're making is going to be good. If they're disruptors, it's going to be hilarious. But anything is pretty solid here. Look at how many queens there are. That is a lot of queens.
Okay, this is a lot.
Oh, it's Disruptor's tasteless.
Oh, Disruptors are probably the best answer.
Yes.
Now, that being said, you know, the staggering between the shots, and especially if you miss.
How do you miss?
I don't know, man. There's like so much material here to hit.
Oh, my God. You don't even have to look. You should just hit something with them.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Good dodge. Good dodge by Dark. He throws down that force field, just slowing him down a little bit.
For those Disruptor cooldowns.
Yep, and here we go. A couple of them coming in. Okay.
All right, not
the best
bad,
hits.
not terrible.
I think Dark is doing is good. Okay, there's no reason to dive on a Nidus when you know there's 5 out there.
Yeah, he needs to kill the army, not so much kill the Niduses, but...
Oh my God, look at this. Coming in on top of everything.
That was 4 queens, but they instant transfuse.
Yeah, but we have a lot of these Disruptors, so he should be able to continue doing this. They're actually at like very similar worker amounts. This looks very good for Zoun. Oh my God! Just a brutal hit. Another fantastic hit. You know what? I think I'm going to give you $4 Tastes because I think he should have just gone to depths again. Clearly, this is not the play, Void Rays.
This is kind of a funny game. I don't think we're close to it being over either. I mean, Protoss did survive that, but Zerg is powering up again.
Yeah, like, this is, the army that Zoun has is like a very weird army. Like, maybe you can go kill your opponent with this, but if you're attacking with Zealots that charge in, but also Disruptors that can kill them, it's not necessary. Like, it's a combo you can use. You have to be careful with it, but are you going to kill him with this?
It seems like an army that was concocted to not lose the game at that moment, and now this is what he has, and so he's like, all right.
It's good though.
Let's see what we can do with this.
The Void Rays are going to be very hard to deal with because Disruptors can just kill everything he has right now. There's no Spire. Okay, here we go. More Disruptor balls coming out, getting some hits. Ooh, some very good vials onto those Voids.
Oh
very
my
good
God,
vials.
yeah, big connections there. The Disruptors, they need to stay in the bag.
Yeah, you don't want them going too far out. Well,
this
some
is
more good hits.
Just wrecked.
Yeah, it might be time for him to just turn around and stay turned around.
It's going carriers now.
Yeah, Carrier Disruptor. There you go. That's the one.
But of course, carriers take a long time before they really get to become a factor, right? They build very slowly, even when chrono boosted. So Protoss is going to try to harass and hit some locations here and there, but let's keep in mind Zerg should have an opportunity to try to smash that 4th base that Protoss is taking. And he knows it's here now.
Well, I don't know that anything can really be killed on either side. It seems like they both have, like, there's enough creep spread, enough units here for Dark, and then over on Zoun's side, obviously, Disruptor is one of the great defensive units of our time. Void Rays as well. Little Prism going into the main. Drops off a few Zealots. I actually really would have liked to see maybe a quick warp in on the side there and see if you can actually snipe something, but the units come up pretty quickly. Maybe you couldn't have. Ultralisk Cavern on the way. Baneling speed, melee attack, +2 carapace. That's kind of cool to see. Definitely Ultras are a unit that can be used against carriers, as funny as that sounds.
Well, I mean, it's not like carriers like hard counter them or anything like that.
Well,
I mean,
the high armor value against like the little
time to kill. Yeah.
The little pew pew guys, like you can actually, it can be a very reasonable way in the very late game to counter the High Templars that are under a Sky Toss army. For right now, because there are Immortals still being made, you don't want to make them right now because Immortals are such a counter. All right.
Okay.
Hey, that was
not bad. Depowers that.
I like it. Kill a ton of shield batteries.
I guess when you have that much supply as well, you can throw it somewhere, see what you can get done with it. But again, you can see when carriers are incorporated with the rest of the army, it's a little bit harder to deal with. We're going to have to see Dark Tech ahead here. You can't be running around with Roach Ravager Queen.
No, he's got to trade this out as best he can.
He needs to find the best spot to attack, hit it, take as much down with it in the process, and then get into a superior army comp for sure.
Zoun now almost maxed out. He's got such a ground-pounding army, it's insane. Look at this army here. Disruptor, Immortal, Archon with a couple carriers in it. and a couple Void Rays. Like, what on the ground is going to stop this? Oh, nice little Zealots at the side.
Yeah, gonna get this hatchery.
Ooh, very good Baneling counter coming, though.
Now that's gonna be the majority of the probes. Oh, actually, I thought that was gonna go a little bit better for him.
Yeah.
Now Zoun's gonna take this hatchery out. Has Zoun actually done it? We've got 13 more Banes on the way.
He's definitely
12 more
damage.
Ravagers.
He can easily kill this base up here as well. His army, I don't think, can be cleared. Like, as long as he saves disruptor shots, well, let's see. These Vipers coming in.
Okay, he's gonna get, I think, literally every disruptor, but is that enough? There's so much over here. We don't have a recall yet. A lot of those biles connecting.
Yeah,
kind of a
really
shocker there. Yeah, it's hard to run away on creep, that's for sure. So, I mean, where are we at from here? It does appear economically Dark's in shambles. He has that third base that's barely even got any resources at it. Zoun is vaulted ahead.
Yeah.
Getting another expansion of his own. I think we're going to game 4.
It definitely does look that way. A single carry on the side getting recalled. It looks like Zoun should be picking up this game. I think the attack of his was pretty good. The Baneling counter was pretty neat. How many Immortals do we have left? 1 or 2?
I don't know, actually. I have no idea.
Yes,
I know he lost all the disruptors.
Yeah.
He might not have any Immortals right now. There's one being made.
Yeah. So he has some of those still. So still has some strength underneath there. Little Zergling counterattack coming in. Get rid of that cannon. Nice little hole position. Going to be able to pick off a bunch of the probes.
Yeah, I don't imagine Dark can recover here. I mean, if Dark does it, it's going to be completely nuts. It would be one of the great comebacks of the year.
He's very good in this type of position where a lot of bad things have happened to him, and he still has like some spellcasters, some high armor units, some Ravagers.
One Ultralisk.
Yes, exactly.
Now,
but yeah, I think that this is going to be too tall of an order for him.
He does have all these Infestors coming. Now, Infestors comboed with Ravagers can be pretty deadly.
Yeah.
You fungal and then combo that with Corrosive Bile.
Very true.
And you're no longer trading army where it's like, you know, a blow for blow back and forth. Instead, you're just clipping off chunks in exchange for cooldowns and mana, which is literally the best thing you can do in the game.
Yeah. I don't think he has Neural yet, right? Neural could be very good when you're playing against Disruptor, if you're playing against High Templar, that type of thing. Oof.
Okay, so we already saw it happen there. I thought it was actually going to be a little bit better than that.
He is actually missing a lot of Disruptor hits.
That's okay, because Fungals are missing here too. Now,
do we not have Psystorm?
It doesn't look like it, man, because there were plenty of opportunities.
Yeah, it's like, I understand that he's trying to feedback, but Psystorm can be good too. All right, very good hit there on that Disruptor. Just coming up. Oh, that's a lot of Biles going down. Some of them hit.
I'm sorry, I thought we were going to have more Fungals here.
He actually blew up quite a few Infestors.
Yeah, this is, I think this is over. I think he's going to push in again, take out the 4th base. We're going to go to game 4.
Yeah, Zealot's taking out this other hatchery. Some Ultras being created now. I don't think that's going to be enough to help. Like, Dark's economy is bad.
Artosis was right, guys. Oh, damn.
These splits have been actually pretty sick. Like, Dark has dodged more Disruptor hits than I can even count.
Yeah, I mean, he just once again has flattened the economy here. I know these Lings are killing workers, and that's great and all, but honestly, Protoss just has the army that cannot be killed.
Yeah, he just went in and killed like 3 hatches. Dark is barely mining. Yeah, Dark only has his main and natural hatches right now.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing.
So yeah, I don't know where this game goes exactly. I feel like we're
I know.
Almost past.
I can tell you.
Well, I'm kind of surprised Dark's still in it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know what else there is to say other than Dark is remaking his 4th base for, I think, the second or third time
yes,
here.
Yes.
And honestly, I mean, the Zerg army isn't bad, but it's not going to beat what Protoss has. And Protoss has not just maxed out army. He's got the funding behind it to remake anything he loses.
Yeah, his income is consistently more than twice what Dark's is. So that means he can trade pretty poorly and still win, but he's going to trade pretty well, I think. I mean, Fungal Bile, like you were mentioning, is one of the more cost-efficient combos that are out there.
Not as popular.
Yeah, it's hard to make all that stuff hit. The range is not. The range and speed are both not really there.
Things can kind of move now when fungled, and so we're seeing some of these shots still not quite connect.
You see Ultras getting in underneath here. The Archons peeling them apart. A lot of Biles going down, and he's hitting like he just killed a carrier with Biles.
Okay, Dark. Let's pack it up. All right, there we go. GG.
Yeah.
Like this game is over. Let's go to game 4.
It's like, Dark, listen, you put up a good fight, but we want to see game 4 now.
Yeah,
Let's
no,
go.
Dark, no, stay in the game. Wait until he destroys all your buildings, because that's the best part of StarCraft, is when you destroy all their buildings.
Yeah.
Okay, finally, that game's done. Now we go to game 4. Look, the conservative Protoss style worked. Can it work again? Will he do it again? I hope so.
Yeah. Well, GSL Nautilus, that's a very, very big map.
Right.
If he goes for an
different
adept
map.
build, I'm going to just, a single tear is going to go down my cheek.
I don't think he's going to do it again.
I want to see Zoun. I want to see him play a nice big game here for us.
But a 4-player map does have some different parameters here as well.
It does. It does.
It'd be harder to do a split map, but let's see.
Yeah, that's
our
true.
game's ready. Let's find out what happens.
Game starts. Alpha X, Zoun.
What are you giggling about?
Just how everyone's saying the name completely differently.
Yeah, I've
The
given
voice
up.
says Zone. You say Shown.
Zoun.
I say Zoun. And then I was like, how could we make this even stupider and worse? It's like with your SH sound that you're putting out, it's like, Shoon. Like, oh, look at it. The Shoon is on the other foot now, isn't it?
So Z-own.
Z-own.
Yeah.
Z-own.
Zoun.
Z-own.
Old Zoozers.
Zoozers.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Everybody's saying it differently. This happened, it's kind of like when we started casting, where apparently we were saying Hydra, and everybody else, including the players, said Idra. And the player and everybody else were wrong. We were right. We won that war.
Yeah, that's true. We did win that.
Yeah, I'm like, listen, if I just keep saying this in the cast, it will stick. So here we are. I don't know if you can go for the Sky Toss play. I'm not sure about it on this map.
Well,
I actually forgot this was map 4 while we were casting map 3, because when I saw him do that, I thought, okay, good, you've found the play that's going to work for you against Dark. Let's do it again. And then we went to this map, and I went, oh, that's right.
It does make it different.
I don't know if you can do that here.
There's a lot more bases that have to be covered. Like, can you imagine him trying to clear top right? I think you have to play the Sky Toss a little bit differently. Like, you probably have to have a Mothership, and you have to utilize Recall quite a bit. Because then you'll have Recall and Mothership and Recall with your Nexuses. And between the two, I think it is playable. But if you haven't practiced that scenario, in a situation like this, like if they were cross spawns from each other, it would be more reasonable, because then the extra expos are like equidistant from you, whereas here he would have to go so far to the top right to attack everything.
Yeah.
Unless you have a very good feel for when and how you want to attack and then do the recalls, it could be very difficult. But then again, you have other tools at your disposal, like Warp Prism, right, where you can just be like, okay, 12 Zealots will clear a base that really needs to be cleared. But I honestly, like I was mentioning before, I think when you're playing against Dark, you want to do things like Immortals or Disruptors or Void Rays, right? Like you need something that counters very hard his kind of mid-game stuff, because Dark plays like that.
Should we have some kind of an Immortal push?
I don't think an Immortal push.
Okay.
Like, I think if you want to go for like a very efficient army where it's like, you know, you're going for a later game, a higher supply with a lot of Immortals in it, where you have like Immortal Psystorm, charge, blink, whatever, something like that. I think something like that's fine against Dark. Like, you need cost efficiency because he's the guy that runs around with too many Roaches and Ravagers. And if you're doing anything overly fancy, you can be in trouble. You want to counter the way he plays because he definitely has a very specific style. This is not really like a Ling Muta guy in this matchup, you know?
Well, there's an Oracle being made here, and a second one is just now started, but this doesn't necessarily nod to...
It doesn't pigeonhole him anywhere.
Sky Toss or anything. We've had plenty of games where people just make 2 Oracles and then they go into a bunch of gateways. So we're still waiting to see the pieces of the puzzle put together.
Yeah. He might do something like double Oracle third, you know, just go into some macro play. Like, the Oracles keep you pretty safe. They give you intel. They can kill Lings trying to get your base. And he does throw down the third Nexus.
Yeah, there it is. Again, it's safe. It's actually one of the older styles, but it's another effective way to basically lock in a third.
Yeah.
So much of StarCraft, even though we do occasionally have these crazy cheeses, so much of it has really been mapped out as far as the early game build orders.
All right, Twilight as well as Forge on the way. Just flying in for a little bit of harassment. Takes some serious hull damage on 1 Oracle, but gets 3 drones.
Roaches are being made. 9, now 10. But is he going to actually attack? Well, when you see the queens coming like that, that usually means yes. So, with the push headed here, I guess it really isn't an extremely long travel distance here.
No, yeah.
From top to bottom.
Not too bad.
He's going to lose this Oracle.
Oh, no, he can't be doing... He cannot be losing...
You got to move that, man.
Yeah, like, honestly,
I don't know, man.
If you let him kill some shields, like, slow him down a little bit, that can be okay. Some cannons, some batteries going up. Ooh, you want to walk your units to the front here so that the Lings can't just set that off for free. See?
Yeah, well, he just completely
he just
pops that. That's a lost opportunity now. And
I feel like maybe he should have continued to make Oracles here to really power down the Queens as hard as possible.
Yeah,
but
you could be right about that. 1 Oracle is just wiped out there. The Roaches and the Lings are spilling through now. There's not a lot of surface area to win. I can't believe he's actually staggered these shots so that this cannon stayed alive. This is the second time we've had Biles come down on that. What are we doing?
What
are we doing, guys?
Yeah. Well, it's going to finally go down this time. The overcharge is gone, so no saving it here. Lots of batteries.
One more Ravager and then do that. I feel like it's not the best usage of that. You want it like that. So he's drained some of those batteries. More and more batteries are being made in the back of this. Pretty good kiting, honestly, here from Zoun.
Yeah, and glaives are done now. So he can actually fight a lot better. The Queen transfuses are basically gone. This looks to me to be a solid hold.
Yeah, and I don't know what opportunities Dark can give himself from here. I mean, these are Queens that could have been put to better use with injects and everything else, but he did basically do kind of a sharp timing attack all in, and that, you know, whenever that's held, it always goes to the other player. You know, then they have all the opportunities, and it's going to be up to Dark to defend here. A pretty good flank, honestly.
Yeah, he shaded ahead of his main other piece of his army. I guess it was like half of his army. So half of his army shades forward and dies, and the other half is killing 2 Overlords in the middle of the map.
There could be another counterattack here from Zerg. Maybe not, actually. He's droning up.
I think he probably should drone up. Like, he forced a lot of static D here. I think the glaives might have been like a purposeful defensive counterplay. I don't think we're really going to see more adepts from here. Blink on the way, Robo on the way, +1. Oracle's still kind of flying around.
For the Zerg now, it's awkward, right? I mean, we've had most of these games where we're criticizing Zoun for the adept timing attack, but this is also an old Zerg technique to kind of topple the other player is in the midst of their tech and development, especially on 3 bases like this. You march across the map and with overwhelming force smash the Protoss player, but Dark had some poor execution in that attack. We saw Biles hit cannons and just barely not kill them, only to be refilled over and over again. And honestly, I mean, of course, he was short a Ravager, which is why it didn't work, but that was one of the reasons why that attack didn't pan out.
Yeah.
You need to actually wipe out, whether it's units or other batteries or especially cannons. You have to make that work, or you can't mount that pressure and snowball the game into a victory. So, yeah, let's see what happens here for Protoss. Protoss now is comfortably on 3 bases, although Zerg's on 4, which isn't bad for Zerg either, but I think Protoss can build up here into another possible attack.
I wonder if he's like, well, Infestation Pit just finished. He is going to have range and +1. I don't feel like there's a good attack here for Dark. Like, we have so much static D at home for Zoun.
Yeah.
He has his double robo producing. I think that this is a game where Dark should go into the end game.
I agree. I think he drags it out.
It's such a big map. It feels like that would be a little bit better for him, right?
It's good to be casting on a map like this as well to kind of see what happens. Now, again, this is a 4-player map, so a lot of the ideas are very different. And honestly, we didn't have a lot of 4-player maps for a long time in StarCraft, so I think we need to start talking about this now. Zerg can more easily reach and stretch into the upper right than Protoss can the bottom right. Protoss can do it, but Zerg are sort of built to grow like that. Also, this base that Protoss is taking for the 4th, there's a lot of punishes that can happen there. You could drop that. You could make a Nidus Worm there. You could outright attack it as Protoss needs to grow into the lower right quadrant of the map. This Ling surround is insane. Are these biles going to connect? Oh, I'm sorry. They're going to go down on the force fields.
Yeah, and pretty decent force fields overall. Just keeping that pressure on. Charge on the way, as well as some disruptors coming out. Vipers are being made from Dark, and that's going to be a great counter to these Colossi. So I'm going to continue to keep this pressure on, though. Does have that 4th coming up, as you said, so this doesn't necessarily have to kill right now, but he definitely wants to get as much value as possible before those Vipers are out.
Okay, snags that disruptor. Good win. Only losing a few Lings. Zealot charge about to finish. Don't know how helpful that is right now with this, but you need to fill in all the rest of the upgrades for everything in the game. Yeah,
charge will, if this game continues to go, it's going to be really, really important, I think, to help do things like erase other bases.
Yeah, and close out when he starts to win fights to you know, get that momentum. I think right now Zoun's playing a really good distance game. Like, he's not overextending. He's trading a few blows here and there, especially with the Thermal Lance. He's just wiping out small chunks of Zerg units. Now he's going to push in. He's harpooned the disruptors. He's killed off 2.
Yeah, just harpooning everything. Great abducts. And as the Viper like gets its energy once again, all the important tech units here are going to be picked off. Definitely an important time to get into High Templars. Robo units are just so susceptible to the Viper. And he actually, nice, uses Zealots and gets that 5th base. So keeping Dark on 4 base against 4 base. He's lost a lot of his tech, but Zoun definitely still in this.
Oh, another good catch. And another! Oh my God, he just keeps doing it. I don't know about the Stalker, but everything else was just immaculate.
Maybe a miss. Maybe he was trying to get that other disruptor. But truly, like, anything you can get is pretty decent as well, right, for a spell. All right, more disruptors are coming out. Lurkers as well. Yeah, those lurker upgrades. Range on the way.
Another big attack coming up here. I mean, is this going to actually work? The duel here, you know, just off the Zerg's 4th base has been pretty effective. I do want to point out, we have not had very many workers mining on this 4th base for Protoss. It's a very subtle thing. There's just actually not much action happening there. So he's on 4 bases, so it looks like he's even, but he's only just now transferred probes. That base has been up for actually a long time.
You are very right about that.
So this
he just transferred those?
Yeah, he just transferred.
That's shocking.
They just got there now. So this is like very subtle, but if you're not mining from that, I mean, this isn't capture the flag. This is StarCraft 2. You got to actually be, you got to actually be soaking the resources from that.
Yeah, definitely a mistake. Okay, a lot of disruptor shots actually coming in. I'm surprised he's keeping so much great pressure on with those disruptors. He is teching up into carriers as well. which seems like a really good choice.
Nidus. He's going to Nidus, Artie.
Oh, okay.
He's going to Nidus.
Well, you said it while we saw the roaches, so I'm like, wait, did those pop out of a Nidus I didn't hear over out there?
I think he's going to Nidus this base on the left.
Oh, that dodge.
I feel like these are not well placed for lurkers. Why would he do that? Why would he do that? We saw everybody. You guys saw it. There's like disruptor shots coming in every 15 seconds, and he's like, I know what to do. I can't believe he did that.
A little mistake there, for sure. And now High Templars are out to help with those feedbacks. Nice tag. This is cool play from Zoun. I'm really enjoying this, actually. Like, the fact that he doesn't back down from the disruptor production, despite the fact that Viper's got really cost efficient for a bit, and now he's making progress.
I don't think Protoss knows about the Nidus, man. It's just there.
Oh, I think it's a...
Yeah, he has no idea. He has no idea.
Oh, boy. Well, lucky for him, he didn't transfer probes very quickly, so this is already almost mined out.
But these are where the robos are. And those are good buildings, you know?
Those are all right. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to pull back completely from his attack. Now he's sending in the Stalkers, but there's Lurkers here, and Lurkers are maybe the greatest unit in the whole world against Stalkers. Pretty insane the amount of damage taken there.
Look at this clown fiesta over here. Okay. He's not been able to deny that base. Zerg has not been able to grow, though. I've never seen Zerg so tied up on a map like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really good point. Like, I guess if he could gain some map control, he could definitely take some of these other bases. Maybe this is where you want to play it like it's StarCraft 1 and utilize Nidus to take and then also defend another base, like top right. Of course, the Prism can be very tricky there. Another nice abduct.
Yeah, these adubs. These dopes are pretty good.
These dopes are pretty good.
But Z-Dog is doing a pretty good job fighting them.
Z-Dog.
Lots of lurkers. This almost looks like a Brood War PvZ here, where you just have so many lurkers. It's like such a difficult thing to hack through as the Protoss. Now, I gotta say, I think this game is probably gonna go to the Protoss.
It feels that way right now.
It just seems like slowly Zoun's getting a better and better position. Zerg is so defensive.
And honestly, I'm very impressed with Zoun this game. The way he decided to play with the disruptors was very cool, highly entertaining, everything. And it seems like it just worked out well. I was very nervous for him when the Vipers came out because he was losing so many. But he just continued to create. They aren't that expensive. They don't take that long to make. And he just like keeps the pressure on. Micro's well. He's keeping on top of everything. But he is going to need another base soon if he does not get a kill here.
I think Protoss is actually just going to shred this base.
He might.
I don't actually see any more lurkers.
A lot of feedback.
Oh, there's one more on the center left here. But yeah, I mean, I think he could just chip through here. There is a big attack happening at the third base, but I don't know.
Dude, that one lurker is
like,
still
let's finish what I started.
Yeah, he'll hold that.
Zoun wins. We're going,
yeah.
Game 5. Go.
Sick.
Very impressive from Zoun. It's funny because Zoun had these really lackluster timing attacks, and he's like, okay.
Well, he's using builds that give him a lot more play than just trying to trick someone with shades. And the thing is, he's a very good player. He's like a creative player as well, and there's a lot of redeeming things about him, but not as many about Adepts. Okay, pulls back for now. Dark finally does have a new hatch rep, but did lose that base.
Yeah.
Double robo being made, still carrier production, lots of Archons being added in.
Dark, I think he had some cool ideas, but in the end it didn't really work out. He is going to try to kill this base over here. And I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's something.
We are going to get to a game where these 4 bases they're both on and their designated spawn quadrant are going to mine out, and then maybe we have something funny from there.
Well, eventually it could go to a situation where they both need to expand towards the right.
And that might be
and
the
then
way
we might actually see all the battles seesaw that way as well.
Yeah, that could be too.
But another base killed off. Dark's hatchery at his 4th is being remade. Definitely feels like a Zoun victory, though. He has such a high-quality army. But Viper Lurker always can get a lot done.
It's a very slow and patient game here from Zoun. He just, I mean, it's got to be awkward to be playing on some of these 4-player maps after, you know, most of the history of StarCraft was just 2 spawn locations, right? So he's just making sure he's not out of position here. And honestly, if he can just flatten this space one more time, that's probably the tipping point. I mean, I think Zerg can't win no matter what now, but I think Dark, he really just is no longer going to have any more options from that point on.
Yeah, well, he literally won't have any money because he's got almost 0 mineral patches outside of this base. Some great abducts coming down.
Yeah.
All right, still a lot of value being put out here from Zoun. Nice little abduct in there onto a carrier. Going to pick that one off. But he is clearing some of these lurkers, and as the lurkers go down, that should be everything.
Yeah, the drones are going to be wiped out in a matter of seconds. It's only the Hydras here. Now, maybe there's enough Hydras that you can kind of chase away the carriers. You do need some ground army here. But even then, I think that you just refill whatever you didn't have before. He actually snipes the hatchery.
Yeah, and it seems like this should just be enough to push back this paltry force of Hydras.
GG.
And we go to a game 5. All right, all right. Looking much better here from Zoun.
I can't believe that Zoun's coming back in such a technical late-game fashion. You don't normally see somebody try to just push and do an adept attack and then fail and then be like, okay, let's play some really
like that.
Yeah, let's play some really complicated macro games instead of just trying to end this immediately. It's kind of funny.
It is, in a very sad way.
2,000 atmospheres.
Oh, all right. Good map to finish on.
Now, we've seen twice here, Zoun actually used the carriers, the air tech, I should say, very effectively. Will he do it again? Or does he go down the degenerate path and upgrade glaives and try to end it that way? I don't know. We're going to find out. But whoever wins, they're going up to the round of 8.
Alpha X, Zoun. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Dark.
So we go into this final game, and we've seen Zoun bring a basically completely remap the way he's approached the matchup. It shows he does have quite a range, and that is part of a best of 5 is trying to figure out, okay, what style is going to work here. And it's pretty remarkable that after having a couple aggro, a little bit of an older look to them, adept pushes, he just goes into the much more modern, much slower paced Stargate style and has success with it. So I do think the Stargate style even easier to do on this map than the last. I was very curious about Nautilus with the 4-player features of it.
Yeah.
It does seem like you do need to have a certain amount of growth to propel your way to the win, especially with carriers.
You need to be able to split map with the carriers a lot of the time if you're opening voids.
What's funny about it is he did split map even though nobody got the right side of the map. They were both stuck on the 4 bases they had, which is basically enough for Protoss to tip the scale in their favor.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a Stargate opener, but no voids or anything like that, right? Eventually into carriers, which is a good end game against lurkers. But we'll see what he goes for tech-wise here. If he throws a Twilight down Tasteless, I'm going to be very sad.
Maybe we have a surprise DT rush as well.
Oh, maybe.
Those can come out and be pretty strong. Now, I think we've been mostly casting this from Zoun's perspective, but honestly, Dark, he's a very adaptive player as well. He did also in that last game do that Queen Roach Ravager timing.
Yes, that's right.
I think
almost forgot it started like that.
Yeah, well, it's easy to forget with how long it went and what a kind of funny-looking game the late part was. But he didn't have to do that. And honestly, I think if he had executed the attack a little bit better, it might have actually worked. But Zoun basically did, you know, it ticks off all the boxes for good defense there. And the game's, It's not over. I mean, this is a thing you'll hear when you hear a lot of pros cast is like when they see the first mistake, they'll say, oh, now the game's over. You can't win, because that's how a pro has to think. But games do prove to be more dynamic than that. But definitely a moment where I think Dark kind of put himself behind. We may see Dark just be much more conservative and just kind of draw the game out and parry the few late game strategies and moves that Zoun wants to attempt, and then close the game from there. That may be what he wants to do.
Now there's a Void Ray on the way, but he made the Stargate after Warp Gate upgrade, and then also made 3 Adepts. So he was kind of trying to sell that he might be doing another Adept opener. The Overlord, though, peeks in before the first Void Ray is finished, and Dark sees exactly what is up. Kind of a funny building placement there. Seems like he was prepping for a possible drone Ling all-in, but that, of course, did not come.
Oh, yeah, that could be something that could have been used as well here.
Yeah. He was actually super ready for it.
Yeah.
He had a probe sitting there. He put a second pylon on the side.
Well, you could almost predict somebody maybe trying that after having 2 crushing long games like that.
Sure.
Try to mix it up. Now, this is Stargate
Fleet
again,
beacon.
but that is an immediate fleet beacon.
That is a very fast fleet beacon on 2 base.
So he's going to go 2 base carrier.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think a lot of this is going to come down to if Zerg scouts it or not.
We saw 2 base carrier last season in GSL, and I'm trying to remember who did this build. Might have been Zest, might have been SOS, someone like that. But
this is a little bit different from the Stargate play we've seen before, by the way. I know we were talking about methodical, slow, long, drawn-out games. I think this is a bit more of a surprise move here.
Tempest?
Oh.
What? What?
Oh, I didn't expect that at all, actually.
Oh, my God.
I was so confident in the carrier tech, but I guess carriers take long enough. It's not really safe to try to just go carrier because any attack will kill you. But Tempests. Now, is it Tempest to defend?
No.
Or is it Tempest to attack?
So he is going to abuse the back of 2,000 atmospheres. So back there, it's the biggest dead air space we have behind a base, and it pops out behind the main and behind the natural.
Yep.
And we don't ever have maps that quite look like that. It's definitely changed the way it's played. But if he has a depth or a Tempest back there, literally you'd have to go Spire to clear them. There isn't an, or I guess teching up to Hive and getting Vipers, technically you could clear them as well. Although that would be...
This is so smart. Now he's
Dark
shown,
has to be looking at it and be like, wait, what?
Well, I think he knows. Once he sees the first unit there, the layers started. And the Tempest is certainly not the fastest unit, but Dark does have plans of his own. He's got a bunch of Lings and Banes, and you know normally we see a couple of Void Rays made so that an attack like this doesn't work. But look, man, there aren't any Void Rays here, so maybe the Ling Bane can do some real damage here. Just one Void Ray and an Oracle isn't going to cut it.
Some batteries are up. He overcharges one immediately. Has this double Adept. Look at this. The Bane's going in. Oh, he actually holds this beautifully. Dark in some trouble here, but look, there's some zoning going on in the main base that push those Tempests from getting to the back, but he's hitting the 4th base. This is a crazy game right now from Zoun. He's blocked everything that Dark's wanted to do.
I think that Dark is actually falling apart pretty quickly here. He has not done the damage he needed to do. That was easily deflected. I think he's... One thing that Dark is doing that I like is he's basically double expanding because he knows one of these expansions has to finish. The Tempest did not go behind like our observer suggested.
I think that was the plan. It's just Dark brought a lot of Queens in the main and wouldn't let them pass.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, this is kind of like splitting very slow Marines here. As long as they don't...
Not bad. Good defense there from Zoun. All right, charge, +1, some more Voids. There's a Spire on the way as well as +1 melee. Now, if you go into Corruptor here, you can make enough Corruptors that you kill the Void Rays and the Tempest, but that's not going to be any good against Charge Law.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Charge Law Archon. So I think that Zoun's build here makes the tech from the Spire. If he makes the tech from the Spire, he might be in some serious trouble.
Honestly, man, I think he's a couple steps away from just winning this. I think Zoun is going to actually pull the reverse sweep here. Everything's sizing up pretty nicely. The fourth base for Dark, by the way, just finished. And that means, you know, he's going to just now get the benefits of that.
Yeah, and he is going Corruptor. Oh, he canceled his Corruptors.
Oh, weird.
The Lings went in, and I think they saw enough units that he was like, oh, this is not just Sky
Yeah, he's
Toss.
trying to switch into Roaches and getting the upgrades for them now, but
that is
a
8
little bit
larva
late.
thrown away, though. All right, he's making some Banes, which I think is really good, really important.
2 more Archons coming. There's Banes, like you said, Artosis, but we got to see where they connect. But it's enough Banes. If they get the right connection, this just disappears.
Yeah, the Zealots are the real damage dealers here. And it's hard to go forward with only Archon because the Queens and Roaches can actually deal with that. Yeah. This is a very tricky micro battle on both sides. No Baneling speed as of yet.
Right.
The Banelings can kill off the Zealots pretty easily. I think Dark's not going to die here, maybe? Yeah, I don't think so. All right, the Baneling's actually just running in.
Oh, I don't know, man. Things are thinning out here for the Zerg. Another warp in here with these Zealots. Oh, but these Roaches coming from behind. Where were these?
Yes, indeed.
How, there's like so many Roaches, too. What is going on here? If that was with the main army, this might have gone completely differently.
And the Roaches, I mean, they're doing something here, but the Void Rays being turned on really does help as well. Another group of Roaches from the side with those other Queens. Micron back here from Dark. He's got to pick off a lot of these important units, like the Archons.
It's crazy. So many Archons barely have any shields, but they're all still alive, and so they're all still dealing damage. I think with the next warp, and that might be it. My God, Tempest Street far, by the way.
Yeah, their range is all right.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And you can see these aren't quite being micromanaged in a way where any Archon's been picked off. There's one. There's 2.
Okay.
Oh, but 2 more.
Yeah, he's clearing quite a few.
Ace up his sleeve.
Oh, he warped in more Archons. Whoa, I never thought of that. Yeah, these 2 Void Rays still dealing a lot of damage as well. Finally draws one back into the Spore, kills it off. Coming forward, going to be able to deal with that Spore relatively quickly. Dark trying to make some Ravagers here to help out. Archon's still getting very, very low. The Void Ray taking a lot of damage as well. He's going to lose his 4th base. Zoun here on 3 bases. Got to be feeling pretty good about himself. But his army is being... It's being killed.
It's being killed.
It's being killed, Tasteless. There's, like, look at that army. You don't look at that army and say, no worries. This is the core of my army. I will rebuild around these units.
My Tempests are still here.
Yeah, the 1 red Void Ray and the 2 Tempests. Well, that's really what I need. It's like, no. If there's 3 Immortals that make it out, you're like, yeah, no problem. We're going to build around this.
But honestly, I think he just remakes the important tech now. We got Immortals coming. We're going to have Disruptors probably soon, too. Corruptors are going to come out. I think they're going to be late to the party.
Are Corruptors what you need here?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think he's... I don't know what's going on with the Corruptors.
Like,
I mean, they're not the worst thing in the world, but I don't think that addresses the issue of the ground army.
I think he's assuming that there's going to be a switch into Sky again.
I think you're right.
And he's going to have how many? Like at least 11 Corruptors, I think. And those Corruptors are going to kill a Void Ray and 2 Tempests. And, well, I guess they get the Prism, which is all right. Maybe they can put some pressure on after that.
He just baited him pretty hard here. These Zealots are just barely going to be able to kill the hatchery, I think.
Oof.
Oh,
Tasteless, get out of here.
How embarrassing.
How embarrassing. That still had 1 health left, Tasteless.
Well, Zerg might be able to save this. Not enough time to save the first Tempest. And,
oh my God, I can't believe you got the second one.
That's crazy.
I thought for sure that second one was getting out of there.
So, again, I don't know if that really matters. Like, the Tempests are kind of an afterthought.
Disruptor shots can't hit Corruptors, Tasteless. What about that, Tasteless?
Yeah, that's going to be his ace up his sleeve.
Yeah. As they fly over the Archons and die. Well, you can use the Corruptors kind of for some pressure.
All right. You ever think a Ravager kind of looks like a quiche with legs?
A quiche with legs.
It does kind of look like a quiche, right?
Yeah, it does a little bit, actually. An egg tart, maybe.
Yeah.
Dude, his Corruptors are killing a Nexus right now.
Yeah, they're killing the 4th Nexus.
Look at this. He's trying to heal it so hard, but Corruptors are insane when they scale up. He gets it.
Well, hold on, though. I think Protoss could still do a counterattack, right? He can still get this hatchery over here if he's got the right army assembled. Blink's going to be done. Disruptors are coming. We already have some in the army now. There's 18 Banelings coming, so we need to see how they connect with their targets too. But I don't know. Well, actually, it seems to be a bit more up in the air here. I
think that Dark actually is okay here. Like, disruptor shots are very important. Let's see how they hit. Dude, he dodges disruptor shots so well. Is Zoun screwing up all of his disruptor shots, or is Dark the greatest disruptor shot dodger?
Remember us?
Coming in now, throwing down some vials, forcing back Zoun's army. He's going to get that again.
Canceled and then remade.
Dude, what a great way to utilize those corruptors that are no longer useful.
Yeah, I mean, so often they're just dud units after that point, but this is amazing. All right, he's going to come in here. Not a great angle for Protoss. Actually blinks away. We need to see some of those disruptor shots
That was a scared disruptor shot.
Yeah, cowardly one.
Yeah. Oh, and he's turning them at the wrong time. Ugh. He's just not getting the value he needs with those right now. All right. Yeah. Still, he's not like losing a bunch of stuff. He still has a lot of supply to play with, decent upgrades compared to Dark at least. I feel like he needs to throw another Nexus towards the bottom right because that's where his main army is, and so that's where he's kind of zoning all damage away from. But he just remakes that Nexus over and over where the Corruptors have done a lot of damage. But we're down to 3 Corruptors, so I think he's all right.
Oh my god. These Disruptors are just getting obliterated. Some of those shots, though, really cutting down the army. Oh, big Disruptor shot there at the end. Now, again, if you win the fight over here as Protoss, you could then continue to push on up to the 4th base here. This really could go either way. It's all going to come down to who can control this better.
Well, he's going to get this hatchery, and that's a big win for him right there. So this keeps Dark down on those bases.
Dude. Oh, I think Zoun might just be able to keep the momentum going here. It's going to come down to this location, but the fact that Zealots are hitting that 3rd is going to hiccup a lot of the income here. The Disruptors are in number enough that shot after shot after shot can come out, never allowing the chunked up Roach Ravager to have a really good opportunity in a fight, but with great control, Dark comes forward regardless.
Picking off a lot of these units, all the Archons go down, forces everything else back
but
for now.
Little victory is won up here. He might be able to kill off this hatchery. And again, if this base up here in the orange is destroyed, there are no functional bases right now for Zerg.
Yeah, he's about to fall to just like 2 hatches.
Yeah, this cell just running out now. He did it. I think this is mission accomplished. I think he's basically done the reverse sweep.
Dude,
Dark, you can see the minerals, the income here, very slowly going up. Does not have much to work with here.
No, indeed,
the 300 minerals to even remake a hatchery is a headache right now.
Yeah.
Whereas Zoun is now soaking up minerals and gas from 2 bases and taking a 6th. I'm sorry, a 5th base.
Yeah, 6 Disruptors along with those 27 Stalkers. This Ravager-based army just can't fight that.
Yeah, Dark, though, not going down without a fight. I really respect this. He's going to try to give it his all. Some closure for Zoun in this game, wiping out those Corruptors. Yeah, I think this is too much.
All right, coming forward. How are you going to hold on against this? Like, just the Stalkers might be able to break that, but with Disruptors in it as well?
Okay, some more shots fired out here. The Ravager's pulling away.
He actually, like, didn't do that well with the Disruptors. Once again, Dark with some great dodges. Down goes this hatchery. Stalkers blink away. Dark's supply falling. Doesn't have that many workers. Oh!
I mean, this isn't bad, but I don't know if this is going to pull him back into this game, really.
No.
Yeah.
He's looking for some kind of big luck plays here. Carrier's being added. You see Dark just moved heavily in his chair. Almost hit his head on the keyboard there. He's playing Zerg, though. He's going to have to use his fingers.
Dark is, he's almost out. This has got to be frustrating. I mean, he's just, there's not a lot of opportunities. He's still in the game. He can still try to take another base, but I think Zoun knows he can just very carefully close this out.
Yeah. With the carriers being added in as well, like, there isn't an answer for this. Not one that Dark can purchase. Max out Zoun moving forward now.
Yeah.
blinks into everything.
Oh my God.
A million vials go down, and I mean, he gets some decent damage with it. It doesn't matter.
It's
That
over.
is it.
Really impressive stuff from Zoun. I mean, we're in a new era of StarCraft 2 right now.
The Zoun era?
The Zoun era.
The Shun era?
the Z-Dog era. Dude, honestly, I mean, he played some great StarCraft 2, and I think he made all the adjustments he needed. I think he was able to handle that on the fly. A frustrating moment for Dark here. I mean, you're getting knocked out of the round of 16 by basically the newest GSL Code S player.
Well, he's taking some more aggressive moves, which is kind of common for him, but his attachment to Roach Ravager really being abused there a lot by disruptors in these last couple games.
Yeah. We're going to go
Wow, what a phenomenal match that was. But Zoun of Alpha X defeats Dark, and he moves on to the next round. Congratulations. Thank you. I was really surprised. You pulled off a reverse sweep against Dark. So how do you feel? Well, first of all, I've never been in Dark before, so I really prepared a lot for the build. In the first game, the second game, it didn't work. But even when I was down 2-0, I didn't give up. And I tried to maintain my poise. And then, you know, I was trying to focus every match, every game. Could you speak a little louder, please, Zoun? Okay, let's talk about the Tempest build. Was this Tempest build prepared, Zoun? Well, Potting used it, so I saw that. Well, in practice, you know, the wins and the losses were pretty much 50-50, but I decided to use it on stage today. So Zoun, you were down 0-2, but you managed to defend against the Queen and the Roaches and the Zerglings.
생각을 못했는데 어느 순간 큰일 났다 해서 바로 공명업을 눌러가지고.
So you know, I didn't really anticipate it, and then I wait for the glaives of that straight away. And then, you know, I think that worked well. In Super Tournament, you keep showing good performance down. In the last Super Tournament, you were able to become the runner-up, losing to Trap in the finals.
차이점은 딱히 없는 것 같아요. 그냥 빌드를 잘 준비하냐.
Do you think there's a difference between the GSL season and the Super Tournament? No, not really. Just a different mindset, I guess. Well, it's really fortunate that you were able to play so well in the Super Tournament, Zoun. Well, your next opponent in the round of 8 will be Rogue, who has been decided as the winner today. How do you feel in that matchup? I'm pretty scared, to be honest. But you beat Dark today. That should give you some confidence, right? No, not really. I exhausted all my builds. So then, Zoun, you're going to have a very busy week from now. So before you go, Zoun, anything you want to say? I'm really grateful to Alpha X, my team. And I'm thankful to Armani and Ragnarok for helping with the scrims. Once again, congratulations, Zoun. Thank you. Yeah, congrats to Zoun. I mean,
I really enjoyed those last 3 games.
I think that's a best of 5 a lot of people can learn from, really. And so up next, guys, we've got SOS versus TY after this tiny little break.